I'm excited to be here at Men's Midweek. And, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think is very sensitive to men in general. And it's because there's arguably one thing that men crave above all things. One thing that men crave above all things. And it's respect.
This is about to be good.
Men crave respect. You can make a strong argument that almost every interaction that you have with men where somebody ends up killing one another is not even because of the situation, but it's because one of the people feel disrespected. Yeah. So for example, oh dude, he was talking to my girl. Oh. He was in her DM. What? So I had to fight him. Wow. It's not about the girl. He felt disrespected. Exactly. There's a podcast that I like listening to once in a while. It's called White Silver Underbelly, something like that. Okay. And there was a guy who he had spent the big bulk of his life in prison. And he was talking about, man, respect is everything. You talk to somebody wrong in prison, you get killed. You put your elbows on the table, bro, wrong person, you get killed. You say the wrong thing, wrong person, you get killed. It's all about respect. But is it? Come on, Austin. Talk about it. Is this what Christianity is all about? Is this what life is all about? We're going to look at the topic of respect from a biblical lens. And I hope that tonight you leave with a deep conviction on how to give it, but also whether or not you should expect it. The title of our message is respect.
Hey, come on, bro.
Respect. Go to 1 Peter chapter 2. 1 Peter chapter 2.
Come on, Austin. Come on, bro. Preach. Come on, bro.
Now the question is, what is respect? What is respect? It's recognizing the worth of a person and treating them accordingly, regardless of their status, position, or how they treat you. So it's treating this individual in accordance with their worth. So when we feel, quote unquote, disrespected, we feel like we are worth a certain amount of recognition. We feel like we are worth a certain type of way that people should be talking to us. We feel like we deserve particular things from people. And when that expectation is not met, we feel disrespected. Come on. Now, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17. It says, honor everyone. NIV says, treat everyone with proper respect. Love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor. So the NIV says, show proper respect to every single person. So is respect something that you actually should be giving to people if you're a follower of Jesus? 100%. If you don't have the ability to give people proper respect, you don't have the ability to be a Christian. If you don't have the ability to speak to people accordingly, to act accordingly in certain situations, to give people the respect that they are due, not because of what they've done, but because of who they are, is going to be a very difficult time being a Christian. And what we're going to examine is something because oftentimes we believe that because we have an expectation to do something, that means that we should be expected to be treated that way as well. So the Bible says that you 100% as a man of God are required to give other people respect.
Praise God.
But that does not mean that you should expect it from people. If you walk around expecting respect from people, you know what you are? Entitled. You know what you are? Arrogant. Because just because we're required to do something doesn't mean that other people are going to give it to you. In the same way, the scriptures call you to love the lost. Does that mean that you expect the lost to love you? No, you would be walking around like bitter all the time if you expected the people in the world to be treating you the way the Bible says that you need to be treating them. So we're going to look at both sides of these coins. We have 2 points. Point number 1, give respect.
Oh,
Give respect.
I like this, bro.
Go to 1 Samuel 25.
Woo! Come on.
Come on,
Dude.
Come on, this is fire, bro.
We're going to look at an example of a man and his wife, who the man actually shows a phenomenal example of disrespect, and his wife is a phenomenal example of giving proper respect. Give respect, and we're going to see the ramifications in certain situations of not giving certain people the proper respect.
Consequences, bro.
1 Samuel 25 and verse 1.
Come on, bro. Preach.
Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him, and they buried him in his house at Ramah. Then David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran, and there was a man in Maon whose business was in Carmel. The man was very rich. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. The woman was discerning and beautiful, but the man was harsh and badly behaved. He was a Calebite. David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep, so David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, go up to Carmel and go to Nabal and greet him in my name. And thus you shall greet him. Peace be to you, and peace be to your house, and peace be to all that you have. I hear that you have shears. Now your shepherds have been with us, and we did them no harm, and you missed nothing in the time they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. Therefore let my young men find favor in your eyes, for we come on a feast day. Please give whatever you have at hand to your servants and to your son David. When David's young men came, they said all this to Nabal in the name of David, and then they waited. Then Nabal answered David's servants, who is David? Who's the son of Jesse? There are many servants these days who are breaking away from their masters. Shall I take my bread and water and my meat that I've killed for my shears and give it to men from whom I do not know where? So David's young men turned away and came back and told him all this. And David said to his men, every man strap on his sword. And every man then strapped on his sword. David also strapped on his sword, and about 400 men went up after David, while 200 remained with the baggage. Okay, let's stop there. Needless to say, David feels disrespected. How disrespected? He says, bro, put on the sword, we're going to go kill this man. We need to take this man's life. Let's break down as to why. First, we have to understand, who is David? David was a man who was not just some random guy who Nabal had never heard of before.
Right.
Everybody knew that David was the man who was anointed by God to actually be the king. David was the man who killed Goliath. You think Nabal doesn't know who that guy is? David is the man who was one of the leading military commanders in the entire army of Israel. You think Nabal, this wealthy man, does not know who David is? No. So David, he gets on the run from the current king Saul because Saul is intimidated by David. He doesn't want David replacing him as king. So David has to run for 15 years of his life. But David, he interacts with this man Nabal's sheep shearers. And while David has the opportunity, he actually protects them and makes sure that nobody takes advantage of them as they're shearing the sheep. Did David have to do this kind act? No. Did David have to treat this man's property with respect? No. This is a guy who basically had his own little private army with him. Could have stole all this man's stuff and left. And Nabal wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. And David is like, hey, send message to this man Nabal that I have protected his people, that I've protected his property. Now, I'd like a couple loaves of bread if you got any. Help a brother out. And Nabal is like, bro, who the heck is David? Who is David? I don't care about that guy. And then he says, you know, there's a lot of people who are breaking away from their masters. So what is he saying? He's basically calling David a rebel. He's calling David a rebel. He's smearing his character. Wow. He's attributing all these things to David that is not true. David was not some rebel. This is a guy who was honoring the king. He had an opportunity multiple times to kill the king, did not do it. This was a righteous man. This was a righteous man. And he's being given all these different labels that are not true. He's being called unrighteous. He's being called rebellious. He's being called contemptuous, and you know what he feels? Disrespected.
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? Nabal gotta die, bro. And this is the thing that you have to understand, is in the world, you talk to the wrong person wrong, bro, your life is gone.
Yeah.
Literally.
Your life is gone.
Yeah, so true.
You gotta be careful with the way that you treat people. What was Nabal's underlying issue? We're gonna break some of these things down. Number one, he denied knowing David, so he's dismissive. He like little bros him. You ever felt disrespected because somebody little bros you?
Amen, bro. All the time.
Oh, amen, bro.
And you may have somebody like, who are you, bro? What are you? Who are you?
Right.
You're like, bro, we were literally playing video games together
Oh my
yesterday. What do you
goodness.
mean?
I gave you my lunch.
Wow. I paid for it.
He questioned David's character. You ever had people attribute things to you that are not true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! Come on, bro.
It's really hurtful. One of the biggest things that honestly really irks me is when people lie about me.
Yes. Oh my
It
God.
really, really upsets me.
So true, bro.
I'm willing to take all the smoke for stuff that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I'll take it all, whatever. It is what it is, you know? But there's something about being labeled things and called things and attacked for things that are so far from reality that it's quite upsetting.
So true.
You see, this man Nabal was also very stingy and dismissive with his resources. When he had the opportunity to help provide for a man who was going through extreme difficulty, he said, forget that guy, even though David actually took care of his stuff. So he repays David's kindness with contempt. He's characterized in verse 3 as a man who is badly behaved and harsh. So he's disrespectful with his language. He talks down to people. He's mean. He's abusive. And I think oftentimes when we're not careful, we can be like really porcupine.
Facts. Come on, bro.
Really, really porcupine. And just mean with our language, even when it comes to one another, because generally speaking, women are more sensitive than men, but I'm not gonna lie, some of you guys are quite sensitive. Some of you guys are like overly sensitive. Overly sensitive. But the problem is, if you're the brother like walking around, and you're not walking around with the reality like, hey, some people are overly sensitive, I'm just gonna talk the way I talk. Yeah, you're an idiot.
Oh my God.
You're an idiot.
Pull it out, bro.
Some people are sensitive. And you know, do they need to grow? Absolutely. But you also need to be considerate. So you also need to be wise. You also need to meet people where they're at. What is the result of all this? David is ready to kill him. David is ready to kill him. On the other hand, what do we see with this man Nabal's wife? Let's keep reading.
Let's do it.
In verse 14.
Come on, bro.
But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to greet our master, and he railed at them. Yet the men were very good to us, and we suffered no harm. And we did not miss anything when we were in the fields, as long as we went with them. They were a wall to us, both by night and by day, and while we were with them, keeping the sheep. Now therefore know, and consider what you should do, for harm is determined against our master and against all his house, and he is such a worthless man that one cannot speak to him. So this is Nabal's servants. And you're going to see his wife actually agrees. They're like, this guy is such a worthless man. He is such an idiot that nobody can talk to this guy. Nobody can talk to this guy. He doesn't give anybody proper respect. He doesn't talk to anybody with kindness. It is like talking to a brick wall trying to talk to this bamboozling idiot. Verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of wine and 5 sheep already prepared and 5 seahs of parched grain and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on donkeys. And she said to her young men, go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal. And as she rode on the donkey and came under a cover of the mountain, behold, David and his men came down toward her. And she met them. Now David had said, surely in vain have I guarded all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that belonged to him. And he has returned me evil for good. God do so to the enemies of David, and more also, if by morning I leave so much as one male of all who belong to him. So he's saying, bro, I'm about to kill everybody who belongs to this man's house. When Abigail saw David, she hurried and got down from the donkey and fell before David on her face and bowed to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, on me alone, my Lord, be the guilt. Please let your servant speak in your ears and hear the words of your servant. Let not my Lord regard this fellow Nabal, for his name is also so he is. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. The word Nabal literally means folly. Wow. Wow. So she's saying, hey, he is his name. But I, your servant, did not see the young men of my Lord, whom you sent. Now then, my Lord, as the Lord lives, and as your soul lives, because the Lord has restrained you from blood guilt, and from saving with your own hand, now then let your enemies and those who seek to do evil to my Lord be as Nabal. And now let this present that your servant has brought to my Lord be given to the young men who follow my Lord. Please forgive the trespass of your servant. For the Lord will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my Lord is fighting the battles of the Lord, and evil shall not be found in you so long as you live. If men rise up to pursue you and to seek your life, the life of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of the living in the care of the Lord your God. And the lives of your enemies shall be sling out from the hollow of a sling. And when the Lord has done to my Lord according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you prince over Israel, my Lord shall have no cause of grief or pangs of conscience for having shed blood without cause, or for my Lord working salvation himself. And when the Lord has dwelt with my Lord, then remember your servant. Wow. So what ends up happening, David is ready. Their swords are strapped. They're ready to go into town and completely wipe out all of Nabal's household. Abigail hears the way that her husband treated this man with contempt, with disrespect. She says, dude, we're going to die. You know what I need to do? I have to go and talk to David. Wow. I have to go and reconcile this situation because my husband's disrespect is going to bring death to all of us. Wow. So what do we see? Proper respect shows through the course of Abigail and the way that she reacted with David. Number one, she took initiative to reconcile. She's not even the one who did the wrong.
That's good, bro.
But she took initiative to reconcile. Yeah. She took initiative to communicate with David.
Come on, bro.
And the thing is, you got to understand, not communicating shows a massive amount of disrespect. Yeah. For example,
so true.
If somebody texts you, or somebody calls you, or you do so to somebody else, like for example, if I were to call you, right, and I were to text you, and it took me 4 or 5 days to get back to you, you want to know what you would think? Wow. I'm not a priority. Yeah. I'm not important. This person does not value their relationship with me. Wow. This person does not respect me. Wow. Respect gives communication. Respect communicates accordingly. It's the first thing you see that she took the initiative to do, was to properly communicate with David. Then what do you see? When she comes to David, she literally physically humbles herself. Right. She gets on her hands and on her knees. She bows down before David. She's not trying to be defensive. She's not trying to act like there's nothing going on. She physically humbles herself. And there's times where we can do things that are like, we may not even necessarily be aware of the different things that we're doing, but I've seen in like circles of men, and you typically see this amongst like athletes, you'll have dudes who try to like walk around and size other people up. Just size other people up, like, you know what I'm saying? It literally is what animals do. They're trying to see like, can I hurt this guy? If push comes to shove. It's just not respectful. It's not respectful, like, I need to size people up, and I need him to know, like, I am the physical superior that's going on in this thing. This is weirdo. Like, you know You're weird. You're weird. Then third, what do you see she did? She took the blame that wasn't even hers.
Wow.
She took ownership. She wasn't trying to cast blame on her husband. She wasn't saying, oh, this guy is the issue, this situation. She just said, man, I'm sorry. This is not okay that this particular situation happened. He did not treat you accordingly. I'm going to make sure that it's taken care of.
Come on, bro.
And then this is also quite interesting as well, is she properly identified David's character. Whereas Nabal completely mischaracterized David.
Wow.
She says, no, I know that you fight the Lord's battles. Wow. I know that you are the one who is the prince of Israel. So as Nabal is attributing all these really wicked things to David, she's actually identifying him with who exactly he is. And this is a big thing that we have to understand, is if you are a follower of Christ, it actually means that you are the son of the king.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to lie, if the Prince of England, who basically has like no power, if the Prince of England came up in here, I would bet you would talk with him, to him, with a certain level of dignity. Why? Because of who his daddy is.
Oh, wow.
You would talk with him. Even though he has no power, no real relevance when it comes to anything government related, you would talk to him a certain way because of who his daddy is. You got to understand that if somebody is a follower of Jesus, that is a son of the king. That is the son of God. You need to talk to him like you're actually talking to the son of the king. Like you're talking to the person who is a prince in the kingdom.
That's true. So true, bro.
They deserve dignity.
Come on, bro. Come on, that's good.
What do you also see? She served instead of demanding things from David.
Wow.
That's
She
good.
served.
That's good.
And oftentimes we'll come to meetings of the body like, I'm here to take.
Hey, preach that, bro.
I'm here to take. And nobody says that, but that's what you give when you sit there the whole time and expect people to only come to you. I'm not going to nobody. I'm not going to nobody. It's because you're arrogant.
Wow.
You think you're too good to go talk to people.
Wow.
You think you're too good to go affiliate. You think that you're too good to actually go and build relationships. You're like, no, everybody's going to come to me. No, you're not that important. Oh my God. None of us are. None of us are. Who are you that you should just sit there and everybody who wants to talk to you should just, you're just going to come to me? That's ridiculous. Go and talk in fellowship and connect with people. And here's the thing is, when we follow Jesus, we are expected to give proper respect to people. It's an expectation for us to give proper respect. What are some of the practical ways that you can do that? Like I said, communication. One of those things, honestly, guys, is showing up to meetings on time.
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
It's showing up on time.
Come on, bro.
I had a meeting with a guy not too long before this, and I felt so bad because I showed up late. Like, I apologized like 3 times because I showed up late. And what happened is, and I hate showing up late to things, I set a timer on my phone because I took a nap, I was sleepy. So I set the timer on my phone so that I can get to where I need to get to before I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And I wake up though, and I'm like, yo, what happened to my timer? What happened? And my wife, I fell asleep on the couch, right? And I asked my wife, and I'm like, yo, did my timer go off? She was like, yeah, I saw you turn it off when it went off. You know, like you're half awake, and you turn it off without even remembering? I literally don't even remember doing that. It's like I was sleepwalking. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, what the heck? No! And I don't like being late to things because it shows I don't respect this person's time. It shows that I don't respect this individual. But how much more when we come to worship God? Some of us respect our employer more than we respect the Lord. Some of of us respect our employer more than we respect the house of God.
Talk about that.
And we walk around like you would probably get fired if you showed up 3 days in a row late to your job. You get fired. But somehow we think that it's okay to consistently be late to the congregation of God's people. Come on, man. And you want to know what it ultimately, fundamentally comes down to? Respect. It's respect for God. Respect for God's people. And for a lot of people, it honestly really pushes them away. Like for me, so I'll never forget my dad. My dad was a man who was like very, very punctual, very serious. Like if somebody says they're going to be at XYZ place at a certain time, he's going to get there probably like 20 to 30 minutes early.
Oh, wow.
This was a very punctual individual. And I'll never forget, my father, he was going to church in LA and he showed up, I think it was to a men's midweek actually. And he shows up to the men's midweek. He tells me a couple days later what ended up happening. He gets there, the men's midweek is supposed to start at like 7:30. He gets there at 7, and nobody else is there. Like, he's literally the only person there. The doors to the building are locked. He's standing out there. Guys, this is the guy who was like walking with a cane with stage 4 cancer. Literally, I was fearful when he would walk around outside by himself because he had lost so much weight, the wind could have knocked this man over. And he's standing outside because nobody has enough respect for the house of God to get there on time. And I'm not gonna lie, it infuriated me. It infuriated me. Because how are you as a collective who calls yourself men of God gonna allow the guy who's dying of cancer, can barely walk by himself, get there before you? Wow. How? It's not a matter of ability. It's a matter of respect.
Come on. Talk about that.
So what's the challenge? Give proper respect to people. Give proper respect to one another. Above all, give proper respect to the Lord. Amen? Now the challenge is because we're expected to give it, by default we expect to receive it. And when you expect to receive it, you set yourself up for massive failure. Failure. Yes, the expectation is to receive it, but you should not expect to get it. Point number 2, dealing with disrespect.
Wow. Oh, yeah, bro.
Dealing with disrespect. A lot is shown in somebody's character, convictions, faith, by how they deal with disrespect from people. It actually says a lot more about you as an individual by how you deal with disrespect than the person who actually gave you the disrespect. It says more about you by how you deal with those things. That's so good. 2 Samuel 16.
Come on, bro.
Now we see David here in 1 Samuel 25. He did not deal with disrespect accordingly. He was big tripping. He was not faithfully walking with God at that time. Very clear. But 2 Samuel 16, many, many years later, he's now the king. And what ends up happening, I got to give you a rundown. He becomes king. And to make a long story short, one of his sons usurps him. So basically, one of his sons tries to steal the crown from him.
Oh, wow.
And he doesn't actually just try to, he actually does. And what ends up happening when it becomes clear that his son has stolen the crown, that his son has actually gotten the loyalty of a large chunk of the military force, that his son has gotten the loyalty basically of the entire country. Like the people are no longer down to follow David. David realizes, I have to run for my life. And we're going to see a lot by the way that people treated him when he was running for his life. 2 Samuel 16 and verse 5.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I'm there, bro.
It says, when King David came to Bahurim, there came out a man of the family of the house of Saul whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera, and as he came he cursed continually. And he threw stones at David and at all the servants of the king. All the blood of the house of Saul, in whose place you have reigned, and the Lord has given the kingdom into the hand of your son Absalom. See, your evil is on you, for you are a man of blood. Now, to give you a rundown, the stuff that this guy is actually saying is not true. He didn't do anything to Saul. He actually treated Saul with probably more respect than any other individual would have given him. Verse 9, then Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, said to the king, King David, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over and take off his head. But the king said, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? If he's cursing because the Lord has said to him, curse David, who then shall say, why have you done so? And David said to Abishai and all his servants, behold, my own son seeks my life. How much more may now this Benjamite? Leave him alone and let him curse, for the Lord has told him to. It may be the Lord will look down on the wrong done to me, and that the Lord will repay me good with his cursing today. So David and his men went on the road while Shammai went along on the hillside opposite him, and cursed as he went and threw stones at him and flung dust. And the king and all the people who were with him arrived weary at the Jordan, and there he refreshed himself, dealing with disrespect. You gotta understand, this was not some average guy who's being treated like this. This is the king. And this kind of like goes above our head at times because we don't live in anything close to a monarchy where you can have different political officials tell people to do particular things, but that's not the way that it works. They don't really have the ability to get you to do much. Like, even if the president came in here and said, hey, go do blah, 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 blah. No. Because he's a president, not a king. The king tells you to go do something. He has absolute power. You don't do what the king says, you literally can be executed. So you have this man, David, King David, going out of Jerusalem. You have this guy, Shammai, he starts flinging dust at him, pelting him with stones. And then you have the military officials who are David, because he still actually has a number of people who are still loyal to him, who exit Jerusalem with him. He has some of the military commanders. He has about 400 men who leave with him still. And they say, dude, we are not about to let somebody treat you like that. Do you know who you are? You are the king. Let's put this man's head on a pike. Take his head off his body. And David says, bro, what is wrong with you? He says, what do I have to do with you sons of Zeruiah? Because this man Abishai and his brothers were known for doing very unspiritual things. But you got to understand, this is the king who is able to tolerate disrespect.
Wow.
Last time I checked, you don't have king before your name.
Come on. Wow. That's true.
I wouldn't have king before my name. I'm just simply Austin. You're just simply Ricky.
Right.
You're just simply Kevin. You're just simply Angel. You're just simply Isaiah. You're just simply Famous, which is actually is his name.
Let's go, Famous.
None of us are a king, but we expect to be treated like one sometimes. When even the king in the situation was able to faithfully take the disrespect that he was unrighteously getting. Why? Because he was aware of the sovereignty of God. He said, who knows? Perhaps God told him to act like that. Who knows? Perhaps God will look at this situation in the future and God will give him the vengeance that is due to him. But who am I? I'm not going to do it. And oftentimes, we want to react the way that Abishai did, where we're like, no, nobody's going to talk to me like that. Take his head off his body. And in every situation, you're either Abishai or you're David. Like, I'm going to do something about this. Nobody's going to talk to me like that. Or you're like, it is what it is, bro.
Come on, bro.
It's not a big deal. And most men, unfortunately, are Abishai.
Help me out, bro.
I'm going to do something about it. You're not about to talk to me like that. Even if it's not you physically, like, have an altercation with this person, you do things in your heart.
Oh, help me out, bro. Come on.
You plot this person's demise.
Wow.
You get bitter.
Oh my God.
You entertain this person's downfall.
Wow.
You pull your heart back from this individual.
Wow.
It's the same exact stuff.
Good.
It is not the heart of a righteous man. How you deal with disrespect says so much more about you than the person who's actually doing it. A couple of Saturdays ago, Twan had asked me, hey bro, if somebody came up to you and they spit on you, what would you do? And I was like, nothing. Nothing? He was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, if somebody like spit it on my wife or my children, and I felt like they were in like physical, they were in physical danger, that's a completely different story. Right. But me, bro, I'm chilling, man. I'm not tripping. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Why? Who was spat on? Jesus.
Wow. Yep.
Who was disrespected above everybody? Yep. Jesus. The King of Kings was willing to tolerate being spat in the face by the very people he was dying for. Wow. By the very people he was dying for, and we expect to be treated better than Jesus. Wow. We expect to be treated better than Jesus. Jesus did not fight for his respect. Oh my God. Jesus did not fight for people to treat him a certain way. Jesus died naked on a cross for the very people that he loved.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you got to ask yourself, because the world fights for its respect. The world fights for its honor. You want to be like the world, or you want to be like the King? You want to be like the world, or you want to be like the Lord? You want to be like the world, or you want to be like Jesus? In Proverbs 19, in verse 11, it says, a person's wisdom yields patience. It's to one's glory to overlook an offense. It says a person's patience, or a patient's wisdom yields patience. Yeah. What does that mean? Wise people are patient people. Patience is downstream from wisdom. So what does it mean if you're not patient? You don't have a patience problem, you have a wisdom problem.
Wow.
Come on, bro.
If you're not patient, yes, patience is the symptom, but the root is you're not wise. Yeah. Which is why you react to everything. Everything offends you. Everything makes you upset. Everything makes you prickly. It says it's to a man's glory to overlook an offense. Come on, bro. What does that mean? I have the ability to recognize that this thing happened, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not like I'm just going to bury it and act like it didn't happen, but actually have all this bitterness in my heart. Yeah. That's not what it's talking about. It's saying, hey, this offense actually happened, but it's okay.
Yeah. Right, come on.
It's fine. It's not anything I give thought to. Yeah. It's not a big deal. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. Wow. It's okay, and it says that it's actually to your glory to overlook an offense.
Come on.
You know, Jesus, again, he laid down his life. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, who do I want to be like? Do I actually want to be like Jesus? Being like Jesus comes with real cost. Yeah. Being like Jesus comes with being treated like Jesus, but then responding like Jesus. Yep. And oftentimes we'll go through the different things that Jesus went through, but we don't want to respond like the way that Jesus responded. Wow. And it's so immature. I'll hear people like, man, so-and-so said blank, blank, blank to me. Okay, bro, it's simple. Act like Jesus.
Exactly.
Take it. Yeah. Be spiritual. Love anyways. So-and-so talk to me XYZ way. Amen. You can't control what they do, but you know what? You can't control what you do. Yeah. You can control your response. And either you're going to be like the world, or you're going to be like the Lord. Either you're going to be like the world, trying to fight for your respect, trying to get people to see you a certain way, or you're going to humble yourself like Jesus did on a cross, and in the course of time, God will lift you up. And if you try to lift yourself up, God will humble you. You got to lay down your life. But in laying down your life, it means you actually have to lay down your respect. While simultaneously giving it to other people. While not expecting to get it from anybody. Not expecting to get it from anybody. Look here in 2 Timothy chapter 2.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I'm liking this one.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is great.
Fuego.
Chapter 2.
Come on, bro.
Verse 22.
Amen, bro.
says, so flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Have nothing to do with foolishness, ignorant controversies. You know that they breed quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but kind to everyone, able to teach, patiently enduring evil, correcting his opponents with gentleness. God may perhaps grant them repentance, leading to a knowledge of the truth. And they may come to their senses and escape from the snare of the devil after being captured by him to do his will. You know, this passage, it talks about particular things that we need to flee from, and simultaneously things that we need to be actively in pursuit of. And it says that we need to be actively in pursuit of righteousness, faith, love, peace, but there's things that we actually need to flee away from. And it says flee away from youthful passions. But then he gets into what some of those youthful passions are. And he says, what are the youthful passions? Foolishness, verse 23, ignorant controversies, and quarreling. And he says all those things, what do? They produce arguments. So he says that ultimately quarrels, controversies, all those things, you know what they show? That this person is immature. Because they're youthful passions. You actually get to a certain age where you're like, I don't have time for that. You get to a certain point in life where you're like, dude, I'm not going to lie, when I was younger, probably would have fought over that. Now, it literally, I don't even lose sleep over it. It means nothing to me.
It's true.
The willingness to like argue and bicker and be prickly over every little thing that happens, it shows you're still a child.
Come on, bro.
It shows you're still a child.
Yeah.
Men don't act like that.
Come on, bro.
Men can overlook offenses. Men can say, I'm not even about to entertain that, bro. Come on. That's not a big deal to me. And it's not like I'm not going to entertain it just because I'm just bitter and I don't want to talk to you. I'm not going to entertain it because I'm smarter than that. I'm not going to entertain it because I'm trying to be righteous like Jesus. I'm not going to entertain that because, bro, I just got too many responsibilities that God has put in my life to give any credence or any thought or attention to that's just going to suck energy out of my life. I'm not interested in doing those things.
That's good, bro.
And one of the things that we have to stop bickering and fighting over is so-and-so disrespected me.
Come on, bro.
Expect it. Come on. And be spiritual.
Come on, bro.
Expect it. And act like a man of God. I can't say act like a man because in the world, acting like a man wouldn't say, go fight that person. Or go like physically harm this person. There's an idiot on the Detroit Lions. What's this guy's name? Terrion Arnold. This guy was a first-round draft pick. And what ended up happening is he was, I think it was his rookie year or second year or something like that, playing cornerback for the Detroit Lions. Super promising career, crazy talented individual. Like nasty already in the NFL. Just like probably one of like the top 15 corners in the NFL. And this guy, what ended up happening, I think it was people came into his house and robbed him at gunpoint. And they stole a lot of stuff. Actually, I don't think they robbed him at gunpoint, but people broke into his house and they stole about $250,000 worth of items. And you know what this man does? He calls the police. Okay, that was smart, bro. He calls the police, but then after that, he says, you know what? I think I know who did this. And I'm going to get my get back. And so you know what he does? Is he has his friends go and pull up on these people who he thought were the people who did it. They hold them at gunpoint, basically kidnap them. He's on FaceTime while it's all going on. It wasn't even them. So what ends up happening? Him, all his friends, they go to jail. He gets released by the Lions. His career is done. His career is done. Why? He wasn't willing to tolerate disrespect. He sacrificed millions. Probably by the end of his career, would have been worth like probably north of $200 million. Wow. Sacrificed it all because he didn't have the maturity to overlook an offense. Wow. Even though it was, bro, $250,000, your signing bonus was like $10 million. What are you talking about? Like, who cares, dude? What are you talking about? But it was the principle of the matter. It was the principle. I'm not going to let nobody treat me like that. I'm not going to let anybody act like that towards me. I'm not going to let anybody do me like that. Why? He wanted to be like the world. He didn't want to be like the king. You know, men want respect really, really bad. We need to be those who want to give respect.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Give respect and honor to one another.
Yeah.
Give respect and honor to people in the world. It's so sad. Me and Adele, we were doing a Bible study, and this guy, he comes up to us while we're doing a Bible study, and you know, he's an older man. He looks homeless and stuff, and he was like, "Hey, can I use your phone? I need to call my daughter," and blah 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 blah. Like, absolutely. Like, here, use my phone. It's no problem. And so he's using the phone. He also uses Adele's phone, and we end up talking to him after the study and all that stuff. He was like, "I'm so grateful for you guys. I've been trying to get somebody to let me use their phone for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Just use their phone for 2 days." And I was like, "Wow. Honestly, I'm sorry, dude." And hopefully he comes out to midweek or something like that here in the future. Actually, I asked him to come, but he had some other stuff he had to take care of. But he said, "Man, there needs to be more people like you guys." And I said, honestly, it's unfortunate that decency is something that is becoming very rare today. Just treating people with what? Respect.
Come on, bro. Preach that, bro.
What did people not treat him with? With respect.
Yeah.
Like he was a person who had real needs, who just wanted to make a phone call. Like, what is wrong with people? A lack of respect. Everybody wants to take it, but nobody wants to give it. And we have to be men. We have to be men of God who recognize 2 things. Don't expect it. But if you want to be like Jesus, you need to freely give it. So let's be men of respect. Amen.